not the worst division in the NFL, and it was too much for you to handle, yeah, you're done. I don't think playoffs saves Pagano at this point. Because the best he could do if they went out is 9-7, am I right? So, anyways. So, no. I mean, yeah. We'll turn what Chris posed into a pop quiz. Is he gone? Yes or no? I say yes, Weasel.
Well, I just want to say that, yeah, I think with Andrew Luck, okay, last year, 61% passing percentage, 40 touchdowns to 16 INTs. This year...
MVP candidate, too, in 2014.
Oh, yes, most definitely. This year, 55% passing, 15 touchdowns to 12 INTs. What is the difference, like, between this season and last season? Is it something with the offensive line? Is it something with the play calling? Because that's a big drop there.
They got rid of Pat Hamilton, who was the offense coordinator last year.
Excellent.
So they got rid of him, and then it looked like their offense started going. But the thing was, they were trying to take the big shots down the field, and he's not getting the protection with the line, and he's getting sacked or forcing the ball in. They were just really looking for T.Y. Hilton almost every time down the field. Like, you go out there for like a drive, at least one of the plays in that drive was a deep ball down T.Y. Hilton.
Because first of all, Andre Johnson is not delivering anymore as a deep ball threat. I think it's safe to say that the Colts offense has lost some pep. Wah wah.
What's funny is I went on a website, a sports website, and it goes, Chuck Pagano, quote, "They can't eat you. They can fire you, but they can't eat you."
That's...
I'm like, what?
That's correct. The only thing I can answer that with is that's correct.
So because they're asking about him, if he's worried about his job, and he's like, I don't care if I'm in Boise next year. Play with my grandkids. It doesn't matter.
Guess what?
So,
yeah.
Whatever. As long as I can do.
Boise State's not going to hire you either.
No, it's not, because they're going to coach. So.
Yeah. I mean, that would be funny that he went from the Colts to that blue and white field. It would be a natural transition. But no! Anyway.
Yeah, because it's just changing horses. Colts to the Broncos.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. Still not going to happen. Moving on. Cowboys, Packers. Now, when you look at this on the schedule, you're probably thinking that Matt Castle and the Cowboys would have an absolute futility in winning the game, and you'd be absolutely right. The Packers prevail 28-7. Matt Castle did what he always does: 13 for 29, 114 yards with an interception. Aaron Rodgers, 22 for 35, 218 yards with 2 touchdowns. But if you ask me what got the win, it's the running game. That's right, the running game of the Green Bay Packers. 35 total carries between the top 2 contributors to get 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Of course, Eddie Lacy had 24 carries, 124 yards with 1 of the touchdowns. And James Starks had 11 carries, 71 yards with a touchdown, and also a receiving touchdown as well for 32. Guys, I'm not even going to go into the rest of the stats. I'm going to make it plain and simple. The key to the Packers' victory moving forward to try to take the NFC North is continuing to find a way to run the football effectively, to be a balanced offense. Weasel.
I think it was, it was last week where one Eddie Lacy had, for my team, 0.1 fantasy points. Now, it ended up, I thought he had a terrible game. What happened? His thing was he missed curfew. So they pretty much cut him off, and I'm sure he's back, but just, get there on time next time, because...
You know who else missed curfew in that game? Apparently, the Lions secondary for being absolutely useless on that 61-yard Hail Mary. We've been over that enough. Yeah. We don't need to touch on that again.
But the difference with the Pack this week and last week is that Mike McCarthy retook over the play calling.
Interesting.
So that's why the plays were a little differently. They looked a little more in sync on the offense.
And there's more running of the foosball.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, interesting. Okay.
This was his first year of not calling the plays since he's been up there as the head coach.
And he's like, ski gas. Okay, I can't blame him. And it's working. Mike McCarthy's a fantastic coach. I mean, I'll leave it at that. He's certainly in the top 3 to 5, depending on who you ask. Anyways, speaking of top coaches, I suppose we have to mention Belichick at this point, as he and the Pats traveled to Houston, just like I did, where the Pats played the Texans. Now, guys, I didn't have any illusions of grandeur with the Houston Texans winning this football game, but I did think it might be just a little competitive. Oh, then I remembered Gronk was back as well. 27-6, your final. While I was thoroughly disappointed watching the Houston Texan offensive line interior allow Hoyer to get sacked up teens of 5-6 times, he went 11 for 22, 155 with a lost fumble. He left the game early. I think T.J. Yates threw 4 passes. Thoughts are that T.J. Yates will be starting next week, possibly concussion protocol and whatnot.
Yeah, it's Hoyer's second concussion of the season.
Very good, correct.
So he is out.
Second concussion of the season.
Yes,
That's correct.
So he's out for next week. It's all guaranteed.
That's serious stuff.
That is serious stuff. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later. Tom Brady did go 22 for 30, 226 yards with 2 touchdowns. But the big plays made who made most of the big play, guys? Gronk, exactly.
And then James White out of the backfield because everyone forgot to cover him.
That's correct. And James White did have a couple big passes on the day, but Gronk was the leading receiver, 4 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown, which it's a sight to behold to watch him jump up and get a pass in person. I'm just saying, I got nothing else. There you go. Keyshawn Martin had a touchdown as well for the Patriots. He also lost a fumble. DeAndre Hopkins only had 3 catches this game, and the Houston Texans offense only managed to get to the red zone one time where they kicked a field goal, and that one time I believe was a fumble by Keyshawn Martin off of a punt.
Yeah, I don't know. 'Cause you were there watching the game, but what I was watching, it didn't look like they were trying to utilize DeAndre Hopkins as well. They were trying to get him deep, trying to throw the ball deep with him,
Right.
and not get the ball in space. And the corner's playing 5-10 yards off of him.
Right.
So I don't know why they don't try to just have him just go and stop and run a quick stop to the back shoulder and get him the ball or slant, because I mean that corner's playing so far off of him.
Well,
Hit the slants and just. That's
a good point. And they could have run slants more, but what I felt like they were doing is trying to open up the underneath to get Ryan Griffin, the tight end, open, number 84, who dropped 4 passes.
Yeah, I was about to say you can't catch a cold.
Yeah, the drops that he had, needless to say, killed at least 2 drives. And yeah,
he had 2 of those drops in the same series.
Yeah, that he did. Getting a chance to see J.J. Watt in person annihilate cats with one hand was an experience. Let's put it this way. Little John may get sick of hearing people go up to him going, yeah. I don't think J.J. Watt will ever get sick of crowds cheering for him. Turn down for Watt. Okay. That music plays. He hypes up the crowd. The timeout's over. He beats a tackle. On the opposite side, trips the running back with his one good hand. Oh, I'm so hot for Watt.
They should play that song more often.
Apparently they needed to. I think I might.
It gets him pumped up. Gets everyone else pumped
I
up.
think I might start trying to play that song while I'm coding at work. That might get me pumped up. Moving on. Yeah, quickly. Panthers Falcons. Go ahead, Chris.
Panthers won a close game, and Cam Newton slacked by only throwing 3 touchdown passes as the Panthers blanked division rival Falcons 38-0.
Riveted. My seat was soaked with sweat. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Matt Ryan was 22 for 34 for 224 yards and a touchdown. He was yanked, and in came Sean Renfree, who threw an interception.
With a name like Renfree.
Julio Jones was the only highlight for the Falcons with 88 yards receiving. Wow.
That was very Ben Stein of you. Yeah. Clear eyes with Julio Jones. Wow. That's a commercial that mommies and daddies watch. Go ahead.
Cam Newton solidifying his MVP spot was 15 for 21 for 265 yards with those 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Stewart had 75 yards and a touchdown. He left the game early with an ankle injury, but it's not serious. I think he should be back. They originally thought it was going to be a broken ankle.
Yeah.
It's not. So in came Fozzie Whitaker, and he had a touchdown run.
Waka waka.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to put that in there, but
I found a way.
I was about to say just going running back waka waka Fozzie Whitaker, but Ted Ginn Jr. caught 2 of his 3 targets, which was better than last week. Woohoo! Both catches were for touchdowns. He had 120 yards. But he did really push off on one of them.
Yeah, he did.
So,
he totally did.
Ed Dixon had a touchdown catch. I really see the Panthers just winning their last 3 if they don't sit anyone. Because of the teams they play against.
Okay, and that schedule is, and stop me when I get it wrong, it's the Giants next week. They
Correct.
have the Bucks in 17 and the Falcons again in 16.
Correct.
I honestly think, and you're probably even still going to disagree with me despite, I honestly think next week is the biggest risk for the Falcons, for the Panthers. And I say that because we've seen what the Giants have done in the past against teams that were undefeated. Yeah, I know it's not the Super Bowl. Jokes, yaka, waka, waka, whatever. No, Fossey Whitaker, crap. I got to be careful with the waka,
Actually,
waka now. But
just letting you know, I believe that when the Patriots had their 19-0 season, the last team they played was the Giants.
in the regular season as
Yes,
well, correct.
and they
that
lost
game
to them,
was
yeah.
awfully close as well.
Yeah, the Giants blew that game. too.
Just like they blew the one this year where they should have beaten the Patriots and they shot themselves in the foot. Repeated gunshots to the metatarsals. You know,
Yeah, the
self-inflicted gunshots to the metatarsals.
But the one difference is the Panthers' defense when they pressure Eli, he makes us bad throws, interceptions. The Panthers' defense is better than the Patriots' defense. So,
Obviously.
So with that, I mean, looking at earlier in the season, I mean, when they played against the Eagles' defense flustered Eli all game. The Giants' defense had 4 interceptions in the game, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Right. See,
So I think it's going to be like the same kind of thing here without those interceptions. They're not going to intercept Cam Newton that much.
for my money, if I'm playing against Cam Newton, which I'm not, but if I were, I would do it the same way teams earlier in the season attacked Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has now managed to evolve to get past it, but I would try that approach. Attack the run and the outsides and just see what happens for you. Are you that worried about Ted Ginn? Seriously? Okay. Also look at his catches in one-on-one coverage. I'm fine with that. You know, you got to bring an omelet to make some eggs. I get that. But I don't know. Being said, I think I'll go on record as saying this. If the Panthers win next week, I'm going to start declaring and predicting undefeated for the Panthers. If I end up wrong, That's fine. But that's where I'm at. Weasel, what do you think?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Just follow through with your picks then.
Yeah, no, well, absolutely. Now, that doesn't change how I feel about how they'll do or that might change in regards to how I feel they'll do in the playoffs, but we're just talking regular season for the moment. Speaking of regular season versus the playoffs, Saints, Bucks, Chris.
The Bucks at home fell to division rival Saints 24-17, and I'm saying it now, they have no chance at making the playoffs.
Wait a minute.
The Bucks.
But mathematically, they could possibly do the thing with the no?
Mathematically, they're 2 games back right now, and there's no way that the Seahawks or
The Vikings.
the Vikings are going to lose 2 out of their 3 games.
Well, see, here's the thing.
And they'd actually technically have to lose all 3 in order for the Bucks to get in.
Well, it depends on the conference schedule and all that other crap. But I say all that to say this. 2 of the last 3 games for the Seahawks are the Rams and the Browns. Okay, that's pretty safe. 2 of the last 3 games for the Vikings, well, one of them is the Packers. That's week 17. That is not going to be an easy game. And I had it up here earlier and then I lost it, so I got to click the button here one more time, which isn't a problem because, you know, computer talent. Boom. But the Vikings' last 3 games, they happen to be the Bears,
And the
the
Giants.
Giants, and the Packers, the last 3 games. None of those are gimmies. It is very plausible that they could lose to the Giants and Packers, and the Bears ain't a gimme too. I mean, granted, it's awkward as heck in the Hurley house because of, divided fanhood, which, by the way, hey, props to you and as a married couple keeping it together with that game happening twice a year.
Yeah.
It's bad enough when it might be once a year. Twice? I mean, think about going into marriage counseling because that's just proof that you can do it right. I'm just saying.
Do you guys have a household rule that she has to work those nights or something like that? So
No.
Hey, don't give away the trade secret, man. He's trying to go into marriage counseling. No, but in all seriousness, I can't rule out that the Vikings